First off, you should know that I absolutely love Splatoon 2. It's one of my favorite Switch games and I've played it quite a bit. When I do play, oftentimes I'll find myself turning up the volume and really enjoying the soundtrack. I enjoy it so much, I'd probably say it's one of, if not the best, most unique and varied soundtracks I've heard. Like most, I've spent a majority of my time playing the online multiplayer. The 18 tracks here really define the game for me. Each one has its own flair and can vary slightly with its instrumentation, but they are all characterized by their driving, syncopated rhythms, complex layering, intricate part writing, and creative use of timbres. And most importantly, it works really well in-game. There's this fast and explosive quality to the music that really captures the raw amount of energy I feel when I play. At the same time, the variety of interesting timbres and combinations of sounds remind me of just how colorful the game actually is. In other online games, it seems like music has taken a more passive role and tries to stay even further in the background. And sure, it can sound nice, but the problem is it doesn't always match the gameplay.
Queen falls, but Scarlett on the regroup is... Oh my god!
Or what's worse is you can dumb down the music to the point where it's so boring and generic, it could be from any game. Something I find funny, but not very surprising, is when I go on Twitch, a lot of these games it's pretty rare to hear the actual in-game soundtrack, with most streamers just choosing to play their own music. This definitely sets Splatoon 2 apart. Like I said, most of the time I play with the volume up, but no matter how often I hear the same track, it's surprisingly easy to find something I hadn't noticed before to appreciate and enjoy. Don't Slip is one of my favorite tracks. That chorus gets stuck in my head all too often. But it's not everything the game has to offer. Distinct from Turf War and ranked modes, Salmon Run definitely has its own sound. There are no rock beats or guitar riffs to fall back on here. Sampled drums mix violently with percussive synths. The rhythms are hard to predict and leave me feeling uncomfortable and off balance. And in the middle of all this, the cello is featured brilliantly. Amidst all the chaos, it almost feels like the cello is fighting desperately to survive. Needless to say, it's a perfect match with the gameplay. And there's still more to hear. The soundtrack dives deep with a single-player campaign that features even more original music. I'll go ahead and say this now that I think it would have been way too easy to simply reuse tracks from the multiplayer. Thank goodness they didn't. There are definitely some gems here, and what's more is that each part of the game has its own style. While I didn't play Octo Canyon as much as other game modes, I certainly grew to appreciate its change of pace. It's still upbeat and energetic, but it's much less aggressive. Instead, it's playful and quirky. A lot of times you can hear these small, intricate parts fitting together in really obvious and satisfying ways. The lightheartedness here is a welcomed break from being splatted online constantly. The music is simply a lot of fun to listen to. And of course, there's the Octo expansion DLC as well, which brought an impressive 20 plus tracks, and a fresh new sound too. There's definitely a clear line of R&B and hip-hop influence that runs through quite a few of these. It's a sleek sound that I hadn't heard in Splatoon before. But Octo expansion definitely does throw a few curveballs in there too. There are some more experimental and noisy tracks that really remind me of some of the trickier stages. Truth be told, I'm still playing through the expansion, but it'd be wrong not to mention it just considering how much it adds to the game, especially when I'm loving so much of what I've heard. There's just so many details that make this game unlike many others, like how you can manipulate the cue music in real time just by using your controller. Or how when you switch shops and the music changes genres seamlessly. Instead of just having a regular sound test, they made an entire minigame dedicated to the soundtrack. And I played this a lot. Doing these transcriptions was a lot of fun for me, and I hope we can expect more music from the Splatoon franchise in the future, because it's really one of a kind. I'm planning on doing more videos like this in the future, and I hope you'll look forward to them. Thanks for watching.